Bottom line is, we are the people that elected these officials, and I'm only in this. I have never been involved with political affairs before, but you know what? I can't sit here as a passive person and watch a travesty go on. Okay, we're here to solve the problem. We're not here to stir anything up. We're not militants. We're just people that care about the neighborhood. That's the way it should be. Chip, thanks for showing up. Guys, we're here to find an amicable solution. And there is an amicable solution. So we'll give it about 5 minutes more. Again, we're not trying to get the 800 people that came last week. This is so that all of you know what is the route. You can't have a protest or concerns about something that you don't know the exact route. We will walk you through that route as we were walked through last Tuesday by Malcolm Bromley, who's the GM of the park board, and he's a good guy. It's not his fault. He's doing what he's told to do. By Jerry DeBravoni, the city transportation director, which is a bit concerning because why would you bring the city transportation director in the middle of a public park? You wouldn't bring the airport director. You wouldn't bring the port director. So that's something that's probably not good. And then the other person was a senior engineer that I can't remember. But all we did is give our concerns. But as we walked through, we found more concerns than we had before. There's a very simple solution. Bikers have a right to bike. This is a recreational area. It's probably one of the most beautiful in the world. So we're not against the bikers. We're against the lack of consultation and that a 54,000 square foot, 12 foot wide is about the width of this pavement here, going all the way through the middle of the green area.
Okay. Howard, this is my invitation to jump on.
Everybody can come. Yeah. So, you want me to introduce you to the son or you're off duty? Yeah. And this is Charlie. He's been half it up for us. We have a wussy dog, but we got the right size dog. Okay.
I have a broken fish cut.
Hey, how you doing?
We got it.
Go up ahead.
Campaign. We got the right size.
Everyone wants to see a dog. Yeah, exactly.
It's about rain today, Howard. Good seeing you, pal. Yeah, I never talked about this.
Okay, everybody, these are the lines. This is the proposed route at this time.
With the fire hydrant.
It's not a proposal, it's an approval. We are stepping in after something that was already approved, and that's the reason why this had to be ramped up, because when something's approved in the civic government, it's actually a done deal. They could legally come in here with Caterpillars any day they want. They've now listed the time frame. This is going to be operational and built by May 15th, which is one of our articulated concerns is this is an unprecedented rush to construction. You know how quickly City Hall moves. It does not move this quick unless somebody says, fast track that baby. So it's coming through here. First concern is this is a fire lane. And if you're the owner of this operation, which is Landry's out of Houston, Texas, they bought it from, Peter Barnett sold it to the boathouse sold it to Landry's. This is their pickup and drop off industrial trucks on a regular basis, garbage pickup and all that. Doesn't seem like the wisest decision, okay? We've got the contract, that's agreement between the City of Vancouver, who's also, strangely enough, a partner in this deal with the Parks Board, and the boathouse, so they're partners on this. This is not the wisest move to channel people through here. You can use your head on this. Everything here is an easy, scratch your head going, who ever thought of this coming? We're going through there if they have their way. Let's just leave that till the end. And remember, I'm doing this in the reverse because normally we have to start there, but we're already here, so we wouldn't walk you there and come back. This is where you would come through. And so we're going to go straight through here. This is about 12 feet, and we're off by plus or minus 2 foot either side. Howard? Yes, sir.
I wanted to ask you.
The path that's already existing on Cornwall side.
Yes.
Now they want to widen that as well.
And that seems reasonable.
That seems reasonable over there.
It does.
That comes
down there, through there.
Well, if it goes the way that they would like it to go. We have an alternative that we'd like to propose, but we don't want to be in a position of dictating any alternative to somebody.
I understand.
It's their decision to say what's right, but we need to say, hey, you might want to think that that might be right.
Exactly right. That's what I'm asking you.
Okay.
So they're going to widen that path over there.
That's
and
the
then
intention.
It's going to come through here and then right through here.
That's what they have at this moment. We have an alternative for that, which I'll throw out here right now, which seems to make common sense. If we could propose that maybe the traffic go through that way, and we'll get to that in a minute, you could easily go through the sidewalk, and I never knew this myself, and I've been here for 40 years, and I did not realize myself until last week because I started to go, okay, I got to get in this thing deep, and I better know what I'm doing. I go, well, there's two sidewalks. I never knew there were two sidewalks, honestly. I didn't think about it because I'm always walking over to the east sidewalk and walking along. I'm never walking very much along the west sidewalk. So I go, ooh, real estate. We need some real estate. So maybe there's a sidewalk there. And who presides over that? Surprise. Jerry DeBravoni, city. Maybe you guys could give up that swath. Okay. So let's just hypothetically say that that went down, and you have luckily 3 parking lots here, right? One behind here, one behind the second, and a third one. So we have 3 options in our opinion there that might work to solve this giant funnel of disaster. The first parking lot has a meridian, which has trees and grass on it. That could possibly be one way of getting across without causing any problem whatsoever to anybody. There's another meridian behind that one. And then the one that I had thought of, however, I'm trying to always avoid green space. You actually don't have to cause any problem for anybody. You could take a straight line, literally along parallel to the back of that, and absolutely nobody that I know of ever uses that. I've been since the days of the train. That's the least used part of Kits Beach on green space I've ever seen, because nobody's going to have a picnic beside a parked car. At least not that I know. Okay, and I lived in Mexico and they'll do that. But, okay, so that's a possibility. We're trying to help these guys see the light to get through wherever the problems may be. The first area of concern will be you're going beside 10 feet beside the Rick Hansen playground. That's not the wisest move. Well, just let me get to you in a minute. Lynn, where's Lynn?
Can you point out where trees will have to come out because of
As best I can, but I mean you can use it by looking at the roots. Okay. Okay, the first item of concern will be, look it, here we are, watch this. This is exactly what we're talking about. You got the right of way? Go ahead. Couldn't have crafted it any better. That's literally what we're talking about. Okay, and that's when we're civil. And that's when we don't have our headsets on, and we're high on life at least, or more, flying through a park. Okay, so here we are. Now, Maria, if you want to take a quick 1 second here. This is what brought her to the mix. They come here every day. So this is the first red flag this way.
Yeah.
This is a children's play area.
So, as you can see, there's a mom with a baby stroller.
And that's a huge concern because it's like bikes don't stop. Like they come flying through here and they don't slow down. Like in fact, speed is the name of the game for some cyclists.
And that is a huge concern with children trying to access this playground.
I mean, putting the bike lane on the perimeter of the park makes so much sense. We're like bike lane friendly and supportive, but we just don't want it in a non-common sense area. We want it to be safe for everybody.
Okay, next. And I'm not rushing, but this is a long walk and we got to be functional. Okay, so this is not going to change. It's going straight through here, and there are no options that they can move because this is the only corridor that they have at this moment. All right? This is not the wisest move. You've got volleyball guys dropping off their nets. They have to access the beach heading west from here. The only other access to this beach, guys, is over there by the pool. And this is where 80% of the people come. So you've got across the road movement here. Okay, there's no room to move here. This is the funnel. You've got picnickers that are usually here, frisbee players that are usually here, tons of families. This thing is packed in the summer. Okay, not now. We're in the middle, going into winter. And look at it. There's still people here. Okay, so this is all redundant. We got to speed it up and get to the next problem, which will be the basketball courts, which is getting close to our domain. I saw a bike here yesterday. Okay. As you walk, take a look at that area there where the cars are in the sidewalk, and just think if you were a city planner, maybe there's some room to move there. Okay, that may be a possibility, but we don't want to get there till the end of the walkthrough. Okay, you've got to worry about crossing White Street. You've got to worry about crossing Creelman Street. We propose that there's a 15-foot wide fluorescent green crosswalk at Creelman and a 15-foot wide fluorescent green at Arbutus, and that paint cost, I don't know, $500?
Yeah.
Okay, that's it.
Cyclists down here right now.
Okay? So these are the courts that Ron Putzi and myself donated the upgrades on. That's our first entrenchment into the beach other than playing here for 40 years. So we're just like Jim Clive, very passionate about what goes on here. There's 500 registered association members and 1,000 basketball players that play here, right here, all day long in the summer. You've got the same with volleyball, which is Jim's domain, with Cal Warford. There's thousands there. They use it more than anybody. And then you've got 1,000 in tennis, and there will be more because tennis has now fixed their courts. We donated part of that. Okay, so this is a flow. It's a natural flow.
Let's take a minute off so you and I go one-on-one.
Okay. So straight up to the end. The next area of concern will be going through the parking lot. Going through the parking lot was my first thing that drew me in when John Cooper, the commissioner back there, phoned me and says, "Hey Howard, they're taking out 23 parking spots." I go, "Whoa, not on Kits Beach in the middle of summer, man. Don't do that. That's a silly move." Right through here, it will weave and go right through the middle of that parking lot. Anybody that lives on Kits Points knows you do not want more people hovering like sharks looking literally for their parking lot, because the tensions are tight in the summer as more people come down into your front yard. So what do you want to do? You don't want to take less parking spaces. The trees are still fine till this point. They're curving around the tree to go through the parking lot, okay?
This path, Howard, would hold.
It's all, the path is.
Oh, I see.
The path is painted, thanks to a genius person that did it. We did not orchestrate the painting. It's a person that did it on their own.
Howard, putting asphalt close to the trees also compromises the roots of the
Remember, they've always told us that in advance.
Okay, so it literally goes here. You guys want us to stop here? Okay. Can we slow it down a bit because they want a media shot? Okay, so putting the asphalt, and I don't know much about ecology. I observe it, but I'm not a person that knows specifically all of the details. Putting asphalt near the roots of the trees will compromise the trees. That's another issue. But we're worried about actually having to take out too many trees. Okay, but here's where I got involved because of a phone call from John the night before, or the day of the vote at the last second. I go, 23 spots in this lot. I can tell you guys, we're basketball guys. That's prime real estate. We got to park our cars. And the argument back from the city, no disrespect to the city, was, Howard, they're going to be biking. They're going to be both busing. I can tell you right now, guys aren't coming from Surrey, Richmond. In my case now, I just moved to West Van. I've been here all my life, but I moved to West Van. I'm not bringing a barbecue on a bus. Are you kidding me? They come here, Filipino, all kinds of different ethnic families have all kinds of picnics up in here. They're not going on a bus. They're not riding on a bike from outside the suburbs. This beach is unique because it's kind of the Mecca. So people come down here in their cars to style. They also come down here to have this as the place that they come to from the suburbs. This is a special beach. This is not just any old beach in Vancouver. This is the #3 sexiest beach in North America. It's the Venice Beach of Canada. And it is the highest profile beach for sure in British Columbia, and to the best of my knowledge, in our whole country. Okay, and you're telling people, well, take the bus or do whatever. But no, guys, I want a picnic. I'm not coming on the bus. No disrespect. And my brother's high up in Trans Lake. I'll tell you right now, we're not going on the SkyTrain down to Kits Beach.
Howard, what happens to this little playground here?
This remains, okay? Did the media get the shots they want? Okay, we're going tight to the next. Okay, so literally we're going right through this parking lot. They're taking out the middle meridian, and it's going straight up here. Okay, here's an issue right here. And we don't have people on bikes. You have two incongruent people crossing for transportation. One person going this way, one person going this way, and we're all civilized. Imagine in the summertime what it's going to be like. Okay, so we're going literally through here.
Oh, sorry. No.
This lane's coming out, and 23 spots are being removed. The next thing is, and I'm going to cut through so we don't have to spend a lot of time. We're going through here. The next area of very serious concern will be coming through here, which is a giant picnic area. Mostly ethnic, if you really want to know your stuff. We won't get into measuring what ethnicity they are, but this is a big ethnic picnic area. But anyway, that's another thing, multicultural. Okay, so this is coming through here. I'm going to go for expediency to cut right through. We'll debate what trees come out, not too many. So this is not the big problem. Okay, now we're coming up to the huge problem, which we can't get around, another elephant in the room. These picnic tables are memorials. 2 people have spread their ashes of their deceased husbands, and they are now going to be moved. So that was a huge problem that was not contemplated. Okay, and there's very little room to move, as you can see, because this is a funnel. If you're a park planner, and let's be on the side of the park planners, guys. Let's not get against them. Let's try to figure it out. But you're a park planner, it's hard to move through here. Where are you going to go? So the benches pose a huge problem. Okay, here's one bench, and these are not memorial benches. The memorial benches are around the corner. Okay, so we're coming through here.
Howard.
Hi, Mom.
Howard.
Okay, there you go, media shot, media friendly. Okay, I'm not a TV producer, but I know a few of them that have come to our rescue. They actually have. Tracy owns the 2 houses on the corner, big meat, Hollywood people, they want a piece of this stuff, okay? And let's not turn this into a circus. Let's keep focused. This is not a political campaign, because some people try to get a piece of that. I told them, we're not in the politics of this. We're defending the rights of the citizens in the park. That's what we are. Whatever happens ancillary to that, that's everybody's fair game. That's their business, not ours. Okay? On we go. So I'm going to cut through because we don't need to go. It weaves through here some magical way that I've yet to determine, but we're going to get to where the other contentious points are.
This is my jogging trail.
Well, it still will be your jogging trail.
Howard, that bike path would be 10 basketball courts.
Oh, that's the amount? Okay.
Yep.
Okay, I'll put
About
that up there.
5,000 square feet for a basketball court. 100 by 50 roughly.
Thanks for doing it. Okay, any questions, we'll stop at the end and we'll answer them all for the public.
Is there any truth to the rumor that the city sent out some workers to extinguish the white lines that were painted?
Yeah, they did. It's not a rumor. We've got it on film. I'll address that in a minute. But yes, they did. I was there and I have it on film. And it's actually on our website. Okay, so now, as you can see, this is very difficult to navigate through. And again, let's put on the thinking cap for the city. Let's not be anti-bike lane, but this is a hard task for any engineer to figure out how do we get through all this. But let them figure it out. This is what we were told they're going. How you doing, Trace? Okay, they're going around through here, which starts to get a little bit more absurd as we go. This is what really concerned us Tuesday because we didn't know this. You want to get ahead of me? This is very important for the park benches. I'm going to come up set of that second park bench. Find the park bench, Derek, that says Mrs. Zibin, because she's the one that has the memorial for her husband that sprinkled her ashes. This is this one? Mrs. Zibin? Yes. Hi, I'm Howard. Hi, Howard. I'm so sorry about all this mess, but we're going to clean it up, okay?
I hope so.
Okay, so I'll let you speak to this in a minute. Okay, it's right here. Okay, if everybody can just slow down a bit here. This becomes one of the major points of contention. I'll get Mrs. Zibin, this is a bench in honor of her deceased husband. This becomes a huge issue for the city, and also where we started to get very perplexed. So, if you want to speak briefly to this issue.
These benches are rented from the Parks Board for 10 years under contract. This has another year to go. But the idea that this is being moved, or all the other ones, is very, very upsetting. Especially as I suspect, and I can't prove it, that some of these might have the ashes of their loved ones sprinkled underneath them. And I think it's very insensitive and very disrespectful for the Parks Board to even consider moving a bench. And no notification to any of us who have paid for these benches. So I hope the Parks Board will really reconsider their idea of a bike path, which I am basically don't approve of the site they've chosen, or the route they've chosen.
As we were told, so we all know, because this is very important.
Either side.
This is not speculation. I'm responsible to represent all of you and our association. So when we walked through, which was Lynn Kent, raise your hand, Lynn. Where's Lynn? There she is. That's Kids Point's Residents Association. All the people that live on this point. Adam Smith, where's Adam? Adam, stick your hand out. I can't see you, man. Well, I don't know where Adam is.
He's back there. He's back
Okay,
there.
Adam Smith. There are your representatives for the Residents Association. This is not hearsay. That's who's representing them officially. Kids Beach Basketball Alumni Association, Kids Beach Volleyball Association, and Kids Beach Tennis Club, Don Shaw. Where's Don? He might have got left behind. But anyways, Don Shaw. So we're not just a bunch of people that are just down here talking through our hats. Okay, so this is where we were shown by the chief city planner on the record, the general manager of the Parks Board, and the chief engineer. And we're going, you're speaking to us, and they go, well, we're not going to take this to the media. I said, guys, when you speak to us, you might as well be speaking right into a camera. We represent the public. We have to tell the public exactly what you're telling us. So you're on the record every time you speak. So please show us. They said, direct quote, we may have to move some of these park benches right here. And Mrs. Zibbins is the one that wrote in, I've got the memo that says, please do not remove our park bench. We have a contract with you, and it's in the honor of her deceased husband. Okay, that's a serious issue, guys. And when you have an ill-conceived plan, serious issues pop up like whack-a-moles. So here's the next one. If that wasn't enough, I'm not a huge biker, and I don't spend a lot of time up in this point. I'm always down there. I'm hanging out in volleyball, you know, I'm the routine. I'm playing, saying hi to you, going to tennis and plopping in front of the boathouse and watching people for how many hours. So we didn't realize that this is actually an official bike lane.
Yes, it is.
This is an official bike lane listed as the Seaside Bike Route by the City of Vancouver. So I phoned it right there and said, guys, you have a bike route. So if you have a bike route right here along Ogden, why are you building another bike route right here through the middle of a grassy area? Okay, this is the answer on the record. Hard to believe, it's articulated. It says, and why is this such a big deal to go through the park? Direct quote, I cannot believe this coming from a public official. The cyclists need a better seaside view and experience. I said, okay, hypothetically, and let's not pit against cyclists. Give them everything they want. Give volleyball everything they want. Give tennis and basketball. Okay, guys, fair enough. But I don't know, where's Lynn? Lynn's house right over there, George Pule's house over there. I said, Lynn, if we put your house up on blocks and moved it 25 feet forward, which is where the line's going, can you see this water and those mountains any better? So how is the experience any better?
Cyclists want a better view. Why didn't they get off their bike?
No, but there's no visual experience that's better from looking from that road to the water, from here to the water. It's not measurable.
And also when you're biking, you're supposed to be paying attention to what you're doing.
Well, that's the next point. Okay. So the next point, which is articulated, which becomes very troubling, is any moving vehicle. What's the cell phone rule? You're supposed to have your eyes fixed on the road in front of you and what's impediments in front of you. How can you encourage somebody to turn this way and drive your bike? You can't be doing that. From a legal point of view, you're dead in the water. If I was an insurance litigant, you'd be dead in the water right there.
Howard, the Parks Board has classed this park and that area there as, I quote, dormant land. They've called it dormant land, but I live right across the street and I see volleyballers and tennis players and kids playing and people playing with their dogs. This area is anything but dormant land, and I think they're trying to sell us a bill of goods by, well, it's just dormant land. Nobody uses it. Why would they have the path? But they moved these park benches months ago. I think that's in preparation of putting this path, so the consultation is bogus. And this is the important thing for us. And with you've got a designated lane there already, as you say, there is absolutely no need. I can't understand.
Okay, that's where, and then we said, okay, does that apply to Arbutus? So Arbutus, hypothetically, if you were to ride along Arbutus, how does your view from Arbutus to the ocean get any better from Arbutus 20 feet west to the ocean and your experience? It's honestly, it's no difference. But last point here, I'm going to introduce Bob Castings. Bob, you going to raise your hand? Bob is a senior lawyer. Apart from that, he's an Olympic medalist from the 72 Olympics. Then you follow history, one of the most important, and I do, haven't played in two. The Black Sunday, which was the Munich tragedy, where the Israelis were killed. He was there in the building next to him, and he has carried the flag for Canada. He is now offered to be our legal counsel, and we have an issue on this land. Okay, Bob, and he's, my respects, he is now checking the legalities of the covenant. There's actually another problem, and again, it's a whack-a-mole issue, guys. When you build something wrong, everything falls apart if you don't do it right from the beginning. The Hadden Covenant, if you want to speak just briefly to the Hadden Covenant without going into the legalities of it. And is Megan Carville Davis, if you know Mel Davis, he played for the Globetrotters. That's Megan, is Mel's partner. Megan has spent her whole life researching and knowing every detail. Wait till you see the books that come out, they're this thick, on everything about this covenant.
Quite simply, this park was given in 1920. This park was given in 1928 by an English developer called Hadden to the city in trust. The terms of that trust seem to suggest that you can't do anything other than leave it in its natural state. So that's what we're really looking at the history of that, looking at what changes, if any, have been legally made to that trust to allow it to be various things to go into the trust or into the park. And one of the issues, of course, is whether the bike lane violates the trust. And if we conclude that we think it does, then there's probably going to be a challenge to that in the courts.
Thanks, Bob. Okay, now for expediency, I can just tell you, the next route is literally going behind the totem and then through the bushes, not taking the trees, but through there right to the point. I don't think we have to walk that through unless somebody really wants to get into the finer details of being behind a totem, which opens up the next issue that Kahatsalano is actually the original fishing village of either Musqueam/Squamish. That's a whole other issue, and it's a big issue, and that's being studied independently, and that they have the case file in the Musqueam and the Squamish bands as of last Saturday, and that's up to them whether or not they would like to be a part of this without obligation. They'll show up anyways if they think they want to. I know them all my life because I went to Southlands Elementary and Point Grey, which is basically where all of the Musqueam band goes, and we've known each other since we were this high. So we're in direct contact with, right now, Chief Wayne Sparrow, Gail Sparrow. Unfortunately, Ernie Campbell passed away last night. So, yes, he did. He had a heart attack. Ernie Campbell, if you remember Chief Campbell, he passed away last night of a heart attack. So there's a whole bunch of issues on the reserve right now, and we're not going to be bothering them until they go through the services that they need to go through. So, short answer is, guys, we don't need to go back down. It's just common sense. That's all we're saying. We're not here as militants. We just said, hey, City Hall, thanks for coming, guys. We're City Hall. We just think that this isn't right. So,
I just want to make a point about the seaside cycle route here. Actually, when the city, way back when, paved the street, they actually took part of the park. So part of that street is Hadden Park. So if you want a park experience, it is there. That is Hadden Park. So there's
using it right now. It's perfect.
Exactly. Yeah.
Are there any other questions or points that we haven't touched
Here,
on?
a week ago there was a path, white chalk or something here. Who put that in there?
I'm not allowed to say, but it was not one of our people.
Okay, the city was here about 4 or 5 days ago washing it off.
Yes. Okay, we have it on film. The Parks Board came with a power washer and washed as much as they could down to the bottom of the hill. So we got it live. It's on a video that was fed to Global, and then when the Global cameras came, they ran away, and that's why they never finished the rest. Okay? They just power washed it off, but it's not a big deal because you can just put it right back on. Okay? We are not orchestrating civil disobedience, but people can do whatever they want.
It was there when we did the walk with the staff. The lines were still there, and that's the walk they took us on. And basically pointed out, well, it might be a foot this way, it could be a foot that way. If we're protecting benches, maybe we move it further into the park.
Howard, there's one more thing. With respect to that 1.25 acres taken, it has to be remembered that the bifurcation of the park and through the play areas and that will make a lot of green space unusable for anything except, a boulevard. So we're turning the park into a series of boulevard strips, and the amount of acreage damage will be at least twice that.
Correct. It's points residents.
Yeah, I just want to say something I think everyone should be talking about. This plan does not fit with the principles of the transportation plan. The principles of the plan is pedestrians first, cyclists second, and cars third, okay? So here what they're doing, it's one thing when you're saying we're taking away car space for cyclists, but here they're taking away pedestrian space for cyclists. That's not part of the goal, okay? So they're completely off their own goals, and I think we should be calling them on that again and again.
Yeah. Well, segueing off the calling them on that, I don't want to be the guy that's the giant S disturber here, but I need to know why the Green Party is conspicuously absent here. This is a green issue. I can't believe that a Green Party... Where's Adrian?
I'm the Green Party MLA candidate for Point Grey.
Wake them up?
Yeah, I have no idea. I sent a Facebook message to the Vancouver Greens to find out, and I haven't heard anything back. To me, it's we have problems with our democracy at all levels. Obviously, I ran at the provincial level, but there are serious issues. I have questions about campaign finance and why this decision is being pushed through the way that it is, because it seems like completely illogical. And I would like to know more about.
Please stir the pot, because on the green issue, let's just get away from everything else. On
It doesn't make any sense. And obviously, I support bike routes. I mean, that's not.
So do we.
I'm 100% in favor of more bikes on the road and fewer cars. But we have a road here.
Mm-hmm.
We have a road here that works really well for bicycles. And I've got a 4-year-old and an almost 2-year-old that are over playing in the playground right now, and they constantly are running off, tearing off at full speed, coming off of that climbing structure. And the idea of having bikes going whipping by there just doesn't make any sense. There's so many other options. My 4-year-old, when I asked her about it, she was like, why don't they just make the sidewalk bigger next to the road and the bikes can go on the sidewalk? I'm like, yes, exactly. A 4-year-old has a better...
A 4-year-old can do that.
And it doesn't make any sense.
To the funding, the accountability issue, because folks, here's a really ironic thing. They say in the staff report, $0.6 million to do this path is coming from the conversion from street to mini park fund. So they are taking money from a fund that is intended to convert streets to mini parks to in fact create a park to a mini street.
Yeah.
Is that ironic or what? How accountable is that in terms of funding?
Constance Barnes was interviewed last week or a week and a half ago. It seems to me she said something like, well, you have paved basketball courts and you have paved tennis courts, so what's the problem with having more concrete? And you would think that the idea would be, well, there's enough pavement in here, we can just leave it alone. And so that's the perspective that group brings. I guess I just wanted to raise that again.
Let me answer that, because for me, I'm a basketball guy. She couldn't have laid her up on the golf tee any better. Okay, every time they're making a comment now, it's actually a golf tee scenario. So I'll answer the point about the asphalt. You're looking at the person, along with Ron Putsy, who personally paid for the upgrading of the tennis courts, upgrading of the basketball courts with the city on the tennis, but personally just Ron and I on the basketball. The asphalt footprint has been there for more than 50 years.
I know.
I've been playing on it for 40 myself.
I know.
I probably got more mileage on that court than most people. So that analogy is completely ridiculous because we didn't change the footprint. All we did is upgrade the existing pavement. This pavement that they're putting through is a complete change fundamentally to the structure of the park, and you're laying it down on green space.
All I'm saying is she seems to have missed that point. I know.
She misses every point.
As a long time.
Honestly, I'm not. Constance is my friend.
That the tennis courts and the basketball courts have been here for decades.
She also said today on a misguided text to Global TV that she thought she was sending to the head of the city. We're in trouble here. What are we going to do with the media? Okay. The bottom line is, guys, no, seriously, they are of the impression that things went well last Tuesday. They said it went well last Tuesday. It did not go well last Tuesday from our side because we're taking all the information and we're going, seriously, we went through the point so it won't be redundant. Are you serious that you want people to look this way while they're driving their bike? That's a litigant lawyer's fantasy. Okay, you have a crash and you have been warned in advance of the problem coming and you still do it anyways. That's actually premeditated. It's not negligence. Okay, that's one. Two, you actually are putting it through when you have a road over there. So it did not go well. What they're going to do now is close the circle and continually ask you to get on the flight to South America and drink some Kool-Aid with a guy named Jim Jones. That's what's happening here. Okay, so we have to go back and say, excuse me, first of all, I don't drink the Kool-Aid. Right. I only taste it and go, I wonder how it is. Why don't you check it for me? Okay, so that's what's going on here. They're not going to accept that the citizens can push back.
3 weeks ago, I heard about it on a Thursday. I got briefed by the park board. I'm a commissioner. I saw it, and I was very concerned because it was the first that I'd heard about it, and I knew the vote was going to happen on the Monday. So I actually phoned Howard, and Howard didn't know anything about it, and right away the red flag went up. So I came down. I was here by myself a few weeks ago, and the media came and started listening to the story. But each of you individually, this is a Vancouver issue. This isn't a Kits issue. You know, people come. This is a destination park. Kits is really one of the jewels in our park system. And it's been designed over the years to have a lot of users, multi-users, and we need to protect that. And when you start talking about cutting a 12-foot wide swath, 4,500 feet long, which is again 54,000 square feet, that's about an acre and a quarter. Like, where do these ideas come from when we have the seaside bike route on the road here? It's been here for years, and in the time that we've been standing here, I've noticed, has anybody seen a car drive down this street? This is probably one of the most, or a bike, but this is one of the most traffic calmed area in the city. So, you know, there's an alternative, and you know, get involved. You're here today, so now you're involved. So now you've got to write Mayor and Council. So the email for Mayor and Council is mayorandcouncil@vancouver.ca. To get in touch with your park board commissioners, and you should be getting in touch with them too, is pbcommissioners@vancouver.ca. You can all write an email. You can all tell them how you feel about this plan. You've seen the route. Now, I've been criticized. They've said, oh, it's a proposed route. There's going to be tweaks. There's going to be this. This route was approved. Division commissioners voted as a block. 4 of them were there. They voted 4-2 against us. The 2 NPA commissioners, Melissa DeGenova and myself, voted against it. Why did we vote against it? We were concerned the public didn't know about it. When we have a community garden go up, you'll see the signs. We put signs up when we do a community garden, and people go, oh, yeah, I don't know if I like it there, and you know, there's consultation. What they did is they did what's called intercept interviews, and they had some people down on the beach, and they asked them a question, and the question was very vague. You know, do you support safer pedestrian and cycling routes in the park? Well, yeah, I like to be on the beach on a sunny day, like Howard said. Of course I do. But if they had said there's going to be 12 feet of blacktop running right through the center of this picture, and we're going to lose 23 parking spots that are then going to be forced into the Kits neighborhood, people would have said, well, I'd like to see the route. So I think everybody wants to see the route. I admire the fact that Howard has showed everybody the route. He met with the city and the park board, so we know this is the accurate route. So the spin is, it's going to be tweaked and all that. Don't buy the spin. This is the route. You need to get the message out. So thank you all for coming, and thanks, Howard, for a great job.